And they had gone astray from the God and molded a golden calf and worshipped it instead of God. They worshipped the gold and that power, and God punished them.
These are not shots from a war. These are the explosions of Kajaran mine. However, it is a war against our right to life and healthy living. When entering this museum, you shiver. From the first sight, it seems you are in an extraordinary world. Jean Grigorian has been the head of the museum for long years already. In this museum, abnormal birds are kept. This is where you will find the famous two-headed calf of Sotk.
And this is the two-headed calf.
The reasons are still being checked.
Air contamination also causes anomalies. If it affected an animal, we cannot deny the fact that air contamination affects the silage and forage, which, in turn, brings about poisoning and anomalies. People eat food of animal and plant origin, which can also cause anomalies, a fact which is not possible to deny. So the higher is the level of poisoning and air contamination, the greater the number of anomalies. I have already mentioned that I remember all the cases in the past 30 years, and this number has increased particularly within the last 10 years. Have a look. The calves that have been brought here show that they have been brought within the past 10 years, and the number of anomalies is not decreasing, it is increasing. It can occur because of different mechanical, thermochemical, biological impulses. Why not? It can also occur because of heavy metals, mercury and lead poisoning, and because of bad mines. But this kind of calculation can be provided by ecologists. Here nearby Hankavan there is plenty of molybdenum and copper. Up to now we have studied how the excess of cobalt, molybdenum and copper affects organisms psychologically. Surely it causes poisoning. The meat productivity decreases, it has its negative impact on the wool, and people also get poisoned. When exploiting Sotk mine, they should first of all think about people's health and then about the health of animals. It takes more than time for an animal to get poisoned. However, people get poisoned very quickly.
When we went to the maternity hospital and spoke to doctors, I heard many conversations about a large number of abnormal births. And I have my own story. When I was going to have a baby, I wondered why I felt so bad. I left Yerevan for Lernadzor for a few months. The nature was nice there. Our house was in the middle of the forest. We had a garden, a nice river, and a divine nature. And still, I felt bad. When I came back to Yerevan, I went for a medical checkup, and the doctors said, "You know, dear Silva, it should have been like that. The influence of the combine is quite obvious."
This road leads to a house where a baby lives in poverty and destitution. A baby who has suffered a bitter fate.
From the very first days of my pregnancy, I have been living in Masis. I was 6 months pregnant when I moved to Lighthouse. When I was 7.5 months pregnant, I had an ultrasound exam which showed my baby's problem. A little later, during 8.5 months of my pregnancy, I learned that the baby also has a cleft lip. I was told from the Lighthouse that they wouldn't keep my baby in their center because the baby may cause problems for them.
No one knows anything about the reasons of the child's illness. It requires serious tests and costs a lot of money.
The baby was kept in the Republican hospital for over 1 month. We wanted the baby to stay in an orphanage for 6 months until the surgery. I said I would keep the baby despite the difficult conditions. It's hard for me to get milk and clothes. I don't have any money. I change baby's pacifiers constantly. My baby eats with the same pacifier and with great difficulty. I went from pharmacy to pharmacy, but I couldn't find the needed pacifier. My baby feels discomfort only during eating. The rest is quite normal and she smiles already. The defect that baby has is neither in my genes nor in my husband's. I heard about it for the first time, so I don't know the reason. There is a sand mine near our house. When waste are brought there, it awfully smells.
Christine has no idea what kind of waste piles are moved into their neighborhood. She knows only one thing: there is an awful smell. Very often, these kinds of anomalies occur nearby rapidly developing mines, in places full of waste piles and tailing dams. Environmental requirements are ignored. No one is held responsible. Moreover, the tailing dams are left to our country as gifts. According to Republic of Armenia's legislation, there is no tax for tailing dams. The largest tailing dam is in Sunik region. We headed to Sunik, village of Lernadzor, 3-4 kilometers away from Zangezur copper molybdenum plant. Our investigations brought us to this elderly woman.
I worked in a chemical laboratory in the Department of Technical Control. I was the one who collected molybdenum, took it to Kapan by train, and sent to Moscow. 18 women were working with me. All of them were ill. A number of times I learned about very sad facts in Lernadzor village. My husband's neighbor, who was a young woman, died from uterine cancer. And that's a tendency, you know? 2 other neighbors died from this as well. One of my grandsons got married, and it is 4 years they can't have a baby. They are in Yerevan now, stuck in the hospital. I'm even ashamed to tell this. It affects even men's sexual organs. My husband didn't live there because he had very severe cardiovascular problems. My father-in-law also had cardiovascular problems, even had 2 heart attacks. Last year, one of our villagers waited for 9 months to deliver a baby, and the baby was not normal.
And what did they do?
They went to Yerevan and removed it. We were going to the place where the stone breaking process took place. When the stones were coming, there was dust. We were dying from the smell of the dust. When I took Arbas with me, he would stand far away and watch. We were getting poisoned by the smell. Do you think there is anyone alive of those people working in the mine? Many of them died. Do you think they are alive? I worked in an anti-plague station and worked with poisonous materials. I quit my job because of that. 80% of the women who worked there died from uterine cancer. It means this is a trend. Men suffer from impotency and women get different illnesses of sexual organs. It can be infertility or it can be cancer. There are young women who cannot get pregnant. They go to doctors. Doctors say they will get pregnant, but they don't.
Is it only in the village or in Kajaran as well?
No, in our village. I'm speaking about our village.
The villagers state that among widely spread illnesses are cancer, infertility, abnormal births, rheumatism, hair loss, and sexual illnesses.
Someone has half of his hair hand from here. My grandson has half of his hand from birth. Anything can happen here.
So you see in Lernadzor village, a baby is born with a half hand. Another baby is born with a pig chin. It affects the villagers. Could it be otherwise?
A baby was born with a pig chin?
Yes, we have seen everything. All this happened here.
When my grandson was born, I went to Kajaran hospital. They told me, let us stop the baby's life. That's exactly how they said it. They said it will be hard for you, for your daughter-in-law, for your son. The child will curse you in the future. I told them I wouldn't do such a thing. I would never do a dirty thing like that. I would even give my life for this baby. The child now lives with one hand and studies. So I want to get prosthesis for the kid. Can I afford that? I don't have a penny.
Data presented in 2011 Annual Report of Human Rights Defender of Republic of Armenia concerning the Ministry of Nature Protection is very troublesome. According to a report published by the World Health Organization in 2005, Armenia is in the second place after Kyrgyzstan with abnormal births within CIS countries. Many experts explain this high rate with the highly polluted environment. Health problems are especially severe in the northern and southern regions where there is a high concentration of mines.
In 2009-2010, the highest level of malignant tumors was recorded in Yerevan, then in Kotayk and Lori regions. By the way, the lowest rate is in the region of Syunik. The most cases with malignant tumors on the lungs have been recorded in Yerevan, which is followed by regions of Aragatsotn, Armavir, Lori, and Shirak. The highest rate of malignant breast tumors has been recorded in Yerevan and then in Kotayk and Lori regions. The lowest rate is in Syunik. The most cases of leukemia were found in Kotayk and Arat regions in 2009 and in Geharkunik and Vayotdzor regions in 2010. In 2009 and 10, in Syunik and Lori regions, the rates are lower than the average rates in the Republic. The number of malignant breast tumors is the highest in Lernadzor and Alaverdi cities, malignant stomach tumor in Lernadzor and Vaik cities. The number of deadborns in Lernadzor, Kapan, and Alaverdi. In 2010, there is an increase in this tendency.
We don't have a doctor. What is the condition of the hospital? That's a cattle shed. Last year I entered there and there was no parquet on the floor. It's not clean. You enter the patient's room and there are no pillows. If you get sick and taken to the hospital, there is nothing to put under your head. We have nothing there. We don't have a hospital.
In 2007, a research headed by Armen Saghatelyan was conducted in Kajaran. They surveyed the air, water, dust, and the permissible density of heavy metals.
Our goal was to find out risk factors for the local people. It was a large and complex research that covered soil, water, flora, and food. Research showed that the main problem is caused by the tailing dams, which particularly have affected the agro sector. Many territories are captured by tailing dams, territories that are used by the population to grow vegetables. But these tailings contain dangerous waste. Our research helped to find out that the density of heavy metals in children's hair exceeds permissible limit, the so-called permissible biological limit.
A research was done on 7-year-old children's hair to find out presence of heavy metal. The results were not shared with us so far. The tests were done and results were sent to the office of the mayor stating that heavy metals and mercury were found on the kid's head.
Did you get that answer in written form or orally?
No. They let us know about this orally. I guess the documents were sent to them and they told us. So how can I bring up a healthy child here? What kind of a treatment can I get for the child? They cut the hair and left. We got no answer from them. They came again next year saying they wanted to compare the results of different years. I was worried and called the doctor. She said that everyone had a problem, but my child's condition was better when compared with others. Only the level of nickel was high. Nickel is already high in everyone's bodies. Afterwards, the truth was completely covered up. I called the pediatrician who had the data. I was told that only children's teeth are being damaged, and it is because of the location. They explained that heavy metals forces calcium out of the organism, and lack of calcium results in teeth damage.
So it is because of air?
Yes, it's because of air. The percentage of heavy metals in the air is high. And if it's high in the air, it's also high in water, in food, in everything.
It proves that the organism is affected by heavy metals, but we haven't studied the child's disease. We can suppose that she has or will have serious problems.
I
would like to have this research repeated. These children are now 10-11 years old. Another research should be done for the babies to find out the impact and consequences of heavy metals on the human organism. Children living here very often suffer from abdominal pains, pains in joints, fatigue, and feel dizzy.
I know that mercury affects bone tissues. If there is mercury in the hair, it means there is mercury in the organism as well. And this is the reason of teeth illnesses. That's natural, as bone tissues are very weak.
Mercury can get into the body through the respiratory system, as it vaporizes easily and can penetrate into the body as vapor. The main damage from mercury is that it stays and gradually builds up in the body.
This year, my child's nails started breaking. We went to a doctor who prescribed vitamins. I informed him that we live in Kajaran. He said it's because of our air. Yes, he prescribed vitamins but refused to take responsibility. He told us to leave Kajaran. He advised us to do it for children's sake. I'm a parent. If the government is not worried about all this, the parent is forced to think and to find ways out.
If it's proved that people's health deteriorates because of this industry, then we have two options. The government can take the responsibility. If the government could foresee that permission of this industry will lead to such dangers, these dangers occur in almost all cases, then the government should bear the responsibility. The government should help the villagers to recover their soil. Conditions should be created for mining companies that will force them to stop polluting the environment. They should be under higher control and stricter penalties should be imposed on them. They should be worked with and should simply be shown their failure to be socially responsible. It's worth mentioning that most of the companies are foreign, and the same companies are really afraid of being discredited in other countries, which is not the case here.
I paid $75 to fix my child's teeth. Why should I pay $75 to cure 11-year-old girl's teeth? I paid another $75 for microelement test per our doctor's request, as the child had nail problems as well. They told nails and teeth are considered to be bone parts of the organism and were curious what the test would show. The test showed that calcium level was extremely low as well. We were in Yerevan all these 3 months. Another test is due in winter. But who can afford these tests again and again?
People living next to tailing dams don't even imagine what kind of diseases they can get, how they should get treatment, and most importantly, who will cover the costs.
They can get treatment, but the question remains, who should cover the costs? If we had good legislation, they could go to court and prove that the mining company is responsible and should cover all costs. However, the company should also compensate for the damage. However, at present laws do not allow for this.
As a rule, the mining companies refuse to take responsibility for heavy metals, poisonous tailing dams, and dead zones also, and most importantly, for the diseases caused by all these.
So now it is good, they are exploiting Aghtala mine, but when it comes to the tailing dam full of arsenic, they say they have nothing to do with it, it's not theirs. But had it contained some 2 grams of gold, 100 owners would turn up.
At this moment, the Zoraget River is being polluted. Sagamore company, which exploits the gold mine of Armanis, throws the waste into the river. The entrance to the mine territory is strictly forbidden. It is impossible to get any information on what is going on inside.
Director of Sagamore Company, before starting exploitation of the mine, gave an interview to Stepanovan newspaper mentioning that they would use modern technologies in a closed system. No waste would leak out of the factory, even the water would be kept inside. We have absolutely no information about the mine because there is an information vacuum. If I have never been on the territory of the mine, if my entrance is forbidden there, how can I say where the waste are being thrown? My entrance into the mine territory is forbidden.
It is all at the bottom of the whole river and it kills the fish. Fish breathe through their gills. I have seen myself the whole river being polluted several times, about 10 times, if not more. Black muddy stuff is being poured into the river. And the river goes through Alaverdi and joins the Zoraget river, and the whole river is uninhabited.
Let us refer to the ways that various mines were exploited in the past. If compared to the Soviet period, Armen Saghatelyan remembers that
at that time, the state regulated all the relations and, realizing that the companies have serious impact on health, stipulated very high social payments as compensation. You know yourself that salaries were comparatively high. Secondly, all employees had the possibility to spend their vacations in health resorts. A special clinic operated especially for mining industry employees. It was located in Yerevan and was called Institute of Hygiene and Occupational Diseases. There were methods to determine the health conditions of an employee. First of all, it was done by conducting a preliminary medical checkup of an employee prior to starting a new job, as well as subsequent mandatory periodic checkups according to a schedule stipulated by law. These were conducted on the whole industry of Soviet Union. What was the purpose? Before starting the new job, the employee's health condition was clarified. If the person was sick, he received the recommendation on where he or she can work or whether he or she can work there or not. I don't know. During Soviet times, when a small thing happened, the whole Moscow rushed here. The whole Armenia rushed here.
Dr. Babayan came from Yerevan and we had a special nurse. The doctor received patients in the nurse's room and all molybdenum employees were thoroughly examined. Even I was examined, I was a controller. After examination, the doctor said that 99% of people turned to be ill and only 1% healthy. Now look at my legs, it had its impact on me. Is this too little of an impact, my girl?
Management of a company was punished by the state if occupational diseases were revealed, and they always aimed to hold back such kind of information. The employees passed regular medical tests, and in order to conceal information on sick employees, I arranged vacation for them. Besides, censorship was a big obstacle. As a matter of fact, occupational diseases were something like a state secret.
Мешала цензура. В принципе, профессиональная заболеваемость, она была как бы под большим государственным прессом.
Children had a possibility to rest in the best camps. The employees of plants had better access to social services than in any other place. Children had a possibility to rest in the best camps. The employees of plants had better access to social services than in any other place. In these regions, food was specially supplied, as it was scarce in shops, meaning that the state provided a high level of social support. This is non-existent today. If a person gets sick, he or she should take care of everything.
The doctor who used to come for examinations was given a lot of money. Lots of money was given to the doctor of the plant. He was told to get his money and to go away. For example, my husband was a chief accountant. Even when there were visits for checkup, let me tell the truth, he took the auditors to a restaurant and treated them with food. After that, they left. This was the order. We were given hundreds of medicines to be protected against the air, the radiation. Even when one went for a walk, its smell spread around.
Do you feel the smell?
In the immediate neighborhood of village Lernadzor, the tailing pipe of the mine passes up to Artsvanik tailing dam. Actually, no one can stay here for more than 5 minutes. You start feeling dizzy. The picture does not convey the smell, but you can see that even metal gate erodes because of the toxic waste vapor.
If similar project is being planned in Terut, another disgusting infrastructure will be constructed there. A huge lake will be built there with a similar smell or burnt petroleum. They assure that they will build the best and ecologically clean tailing dump. We will surely fight against it and we will not let them build it. Dear Terut residents, dear Valex miners and pitmen, please have a closer look at this picturesque site. The same is expected in Terut, and it will flow into the river lakes and streamlets, which would be turned into places of interest for tourists.
I want to become a lawyer very much, and I'll do my best to make my dream come true. I want to protect human rights. I want people to come to me, and I'll do my job and help them.
Who will take the responsibility for the harm they caused to little Angela, Annie, Anna, Marie, Tigran? This question still remains unanswered.